now interrupt your regular scheduled programming for the following sports special on the PCS Array Radio Network and the Blue Hedgehog TV. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of the International Motorsports Association for the private use of our audience. Any reproduction or rebroadcast, retransmission, or other disseminations or the use of this broadcast, descriptions, or accounts of this show without the express written consent of the International Motorsports Association is prohibited. On the PCS Array Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Welcome to the IMSA Podcast presented by Toyota. Here's the voice of the PCS Array, Daniel Voiles.
And hello and good afternoon and welcome to our second episode of the IMSA Podcast in its history, as the IMSA Podcast is on the air for the PCS Array Radio Network, the Blue Hedgehog TV, presented by Toyota, choosing any car dealership across America as long as it's moving forward. Glad to be back with you guys for the second installment of the IMSA Podcast. Looking forward to what is going to be a very amazing show. We absolutely have a double header here today. We got the weekly show coming up later this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so please come on back if you missed today's show as far as that is concerned, because this is the only show where I'm going to do the introduction, so I'll just say, yeah. So, with that being said, a couple of announcements I need to get out of the way. First off, just a little note that if you guys want to join the PCS Array weekly show, please DM me on Discord, and I will get with you as far as that situation is concerned, because we'll be talking about NASCAR, but first we'll have to recap the Formula E race, which that is actually the first thing we'll have to do. And we're also going to be in Great Lakes server. We'll be back at my server recapping the race weekend of the Clash, because that's the only thing we have, because we don't have any global picks for next weekend. So and plus we already have the entry list for the Clash, so it's like, let's just get this over with, and then we'll be off next week, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks to recap. So yeah, today's agenda for the IMSA Podcast, we are going to recap Daytona. And all that good stuff. We'll talk about our thoughts about the Daytona weekend. We'll go through any other than news, as I don't know why it did that. So let me do this. Take that out. I don't know why it gave me that, but whatever. Because I need to move this down, actually. And plus, I got NASCAR Heat 4 races already premiered for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so I hope you guys look forward to that. And that's pretty much all I have to say as far as that's concerned. So again, if you need to get with me on the weekly show, please DM me on Discord, and I will get back with you as soon as possible. So with that being said, that's all the announcements. That's the only announcements I will say. I will just throw a reminder for everyone as far as that is concerned. With that said, let's introduce our panelist for the IMSA Podcast. Joining me is Nathan Orman and Zachary Taylor. First time Zachary Taylor is on the IMSA Podcast. Hooray! Taylor's famous, fully clothed. Oh, come on. I told you to be excited, and you come out with a, Come on, man. I don't know if it's his internet or what, but I think Taylor's about to go smack the internet with a baseball bat, and he did it fully clothed. So, are you all right, Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Are you guys ready to recap? Yes, recapping, if I can find the freaking results for... I need to find the results for all of this. Give me 1 second. Okay, I found the results. So, let us begin the IMSA podcast. Our first recap, I should point out to all of you guys. Okay, I don't know if I should count that as a girly point or what, bro.
Yeah, that's the girly point.
Darn it, I just hit the wrong wait. No, wait.
Nice job, Danny.
Well, I thought that was the results, but that wasn't, so blame the phone. There we go. Okay, so now I got...
Okay, accepted.
Wait, who?
I said, we'll blame Tinkerbell on you. Okay, accepted.
Okay, so... IMSA website, you derp. It's supposed to be the 4 hours at Daytona, not the Rolex 24 at Daytona for the pilot challenge, you derping website. Yep, the website is on the board with its first dirt point. Tell Cody that. Okay. So, as YouTube is getting booted for some reason, I'm not going to complain. Let's start recapping the, starting with the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Sadly, I couldn't make it to the race, which also means, by the way, no reaction. But if you... But I want to remind Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to say that. Instead, it says Rolex 24. So, good job, website. You just got your first ever derp in the history of historyness. But anyway, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you miss any IMSA races, it's on YouTube. I can send you guys the link to the channels so you can go subscribe. That way you don't miss any IMSA podcasts or IMSA races. So, alright, as I was saying, recapping Daytona. I have to say, it was a very exciting race, I would have to say. We saw some dramatic stuff, if you know what I mean. First incident, if I can find it, let me check, is this the car? Okay, car numbers, okay, sweet. Car numbers right here. First incident was the LA Honda 37 and the Mike Skeen number 2. Of course, the 2-car lost control going into turn 5. He spun. Shelby Blackstone or Chris Miller, whoever was driving, had nowhere to go. They plowed in the side of him, which brought out the first caution of the race. I mean, the racing battles were good. There was a mechanical failure on Haley Deegan and Chase Briscoe, which was very sad to see, because I was expecting them to have a good run today, as far as that's concerned. And then the biggest scary incident of the race, Scott Maxwell coming down to the bus stop chicane. Didn't look like he made any contact, looked like the rear brakes locked up or something. He lost control, slammed in the safer barrier, and it flipped the car. Good news, he was out of the car okay, released from the medical center, which the race pretty much ended under the safety car. Not accepted, Taylor. On Messenger, what you just said. No, we tied. Not accepted. We tied again. But, the race, by the way, ended under the safety car, and when the dust settled, Dylan Murray, Jerome Bleekeman, Jim Cox won in the Grand Sport category, and then in TCR, it was John Morley and Gavin Ernstone that took the victory. So the top 10 results are the follow. 35 Team 1. Philip Ellis and Bryce Ward got second. Indy Donji, Russell Ward got third. They rounded out the podium. Jeff Westphal and Tyler McQuay got fourth. Fifth was Kyle Marcelli and Nate Stacy. That's an interesting name if you ask me. So they round out the top 5 in Grand Sport. Devin Jones, James Clay finished 6th. Gregory Life4G and Ari Bylov, or whatever. I can't even pronounce some of these names. They finished 7th. Eric Foss, Jeff Mossing 8th. Spencer Pompelli and Robert Ferrari got 9th. And Britt Cassie Jr. and Michael McCann rounded out the top 10 in class. And then for TCR, John Morley, Kevin Ernstone winners. Mikey Taylor, William Talley finished 2nd. That's a weird name. Mikey Taylor. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, no relationship to Zachary Taylor. Just pointing that out. So, Steven Simpson, Michael Johnson, they got 3rd in class. Michael Lewis, Mason Felipe got 4th. Ryan Newman and IndyCar driver Gabby Chavez got 5th. Mark Wilkins and Harry Godsacker finished 6th. Somebody had to go get that sacker into that God. Pun intended. Sorry about that. They end up 6th. Travis Hill, Rom Tomlinson got 7th. Matthew Pombo and Mike Lamara got 8th. AJ Mussey and Ben Waddle got 9th. And Scott Maxwell and Marco Signorelli, despite the flip, they finished in the 10th position.
No. Actually, Benzie Tiff and TCR, that's Todd Lamb and Brian Henderson.
Okay. See, this is what happens when we haven't done the IMSA podcast, and good lord, who knows how long. And then we won't do it again until March 16th, but you get my point. What?
You better not look at Messenger, Danny, what OJ just did to you.
Can I smack him?
Smacks Danny.
Actually, LJ, you derp, I did not roast you. Nice derp, LJ. I was getting ready to tell him IMSA podcast, and then he puts not accepted. So congratulations, you're on the board for a derp point. Also, Taylor, don't look at what I just said in Cody's roasting chat, and it's not about you. Okay, then we go to the IMSA, WeatherTech Sports Car Championship for the Rolex 24 Daytona, and it was a very, very, very fun show, if you ask me. Really, it was alright then. I got no comments. Some reason they don't put the freaking cautions out or on the website. GG. So the race was good, I have to say. Was really exciting. The first incident actually that did not bring out a caution. James, don't help me, Orman. I can figure it out. Okay, the 55 of Harry Tinkle and the 7 of the 7 of Elio Castroneves coming into the bus stop. Both of them collided. The 7 thought he was clear. He wasn't. The 2 made contact. The 55 went around, didn't hit anything. The 7 car backed it in the tire wall. Second time they had a crash there. Then the first actual yellow was was a great way to plow in the back. The 23, I don't know who was driving at the time, and the 47, they were coming to pit road. 23 decided to arc a brake the 20. I'll do it in a second. I'm currently recapping LJ. If one of you guys can send him the link, go ahead. Okay, Alex Riberas was driving. I don't know who was driving the 47, but anyway, the Riberas decided to. Yeah, but either way, the 2 collided on pit road. 23 was so busy dreaming about having a hamburger at Wendy's. Arca breaks the living crap out of the 47, who got hit with an RKO, in the famous terms of motorsports. 23's front end was gone. They brought out the first full course yellow for the first part. The number 4 had a mechanical failure. It's up brake for the Corvette boys, which they got so triggered that Taylor had to eject them for triggerness. It was good racing. We had one of the Corvettes take out one of the GTD cars going into turn 1. And then the 38, which was Cameron Castles, who was driving at the time, locked up the tires going into turn number 3, slammed into the tire wall, brought out another full course yellow. We had like crazy full course yellows as far as that race was concerned. Also, I need to share this the link to other servers. And then the all-female car, the Lamborghini, and we had to scream, put it out, put it out, put it out. I think it was Christina Nielsen who was driving at the time. I think had a mechanical failure, and it blew up so quickly it caught on fire. She got out of the car. She was fine, but she was solely disappointed in that regard. Other than that, it was pretty good racing, and some people saying that, you know, we don't care about the Rolex 24 because it's stupid and all that, and the racing's bad. I disagree. It was good. And at the end of the day, if this stupid deal wants to load up, I'll worry about that later. When the dust settled, it was Regner van der Zier, Ryan Briscoe, Scott Dixon, and Kamui Kobayashi who pulled off Cadillac's big win as they take the 2020 edition of the Rolex 24 at Daytona. So the results for the DPIs were the number 10 of Regner van der Zier, Ryan Briscoe, Scott Dixon, Kamui Kobayashi wins. Oliver Playa, Oliver Janis, and Tristan Nunez got second in a cool paint scheme they got. Luke Duvall, Joao Barbosa, and Sebastian Bourdais got third. Dane Cameron, Juan Pablo Montoya, and Simon Pagenaud got fourth. Tristan Valtieri won. Peter Rita, Matthias Lees, and Chris Miller got fifth. They rounded out the top 5. Harry Tinkle, Ryan Hunter-Reay, Jonathan Bomarito got sixth. Mike Conway, Pipo Durrani, Felipe Albuquerque, and Felipe Nasser got 7th. Elio Castroneves, Alexander Rossi, Ricky Taylor got 8th. And I believe, that's all of the that's all of the DPIs. For the LMP2s, since there was only 5, Ben Henley, Hendrik Hedman, former NASCAR driver Colin Brown, and Harrison Newey got the wins in LMP2. Gabri Aubrey, Ben Keating, Simon Trummer, and Nick Booley got second. Nick Massani, Dwight Meridian, Kyle Tilley, and Ryan Lewis got third. Nicholas LaPierre, John Farino, Ryan Diaz, and David Hermanmeyer Hansen got fourth. And as I mentioned, the only car that went out of the race was Kyle Mason, Robert Mason, Don Yount, and Cameron Castles for the LMP2. For the GT Le Mans, Jesse Krohn, John Edwards, Chaz Mostert. Good off-season for Chaz Mostert since he'll be in Bathurst competing for the 12 hours. And Augusto Faris took the win in GT Le Mans. Matthias Jamet, Earl Bamber, and Lauren Van Troot got second. Frederick Makowicki, Matt Campbell, Nick Tandy got third. Jordan Taylor, Nicky Kasberg, Antonio Garcia got fourth. Connor D. Felipe, Philip Ing, Connor Herta, and Bruno Spengler rounded out the top 5 in class. James Caldillo, Alessandro Piaguati, Daniel Serra, and Davide Rigon got 6. And Marcel Frassi, Oliver Rowland, and Tommy Miller rounded out the GT Le Mans. And then for the GT Daytonas, for the top 10, Andrea Callery, Brian Sellers, Madison Snow, Corey Lewis got the win. Marco Mappelli, Spencer Pompelli, John Potter, and Andy Lally got second. Somebody better not tell Potter he has pothead all over it. Dries Van Troot, Mikko Podolotti, Rolf whatever your name is. Daniel Moore got third. Callis Bacher, Ryan Hardwick, Patrick Long, Anthony Empertito got 4th. Steven Muller, Tim Pappas, Joan Bleckamon, and Trenton Isep got rounded out the top 5. Bill Overland, Robbie Foley, Jens Kligerman, Dylan Machaverin got 6th. Tony Verlander, Jeff Westphal, Alessandro Balton, and Cooper McNeil got 7th. AJ Allmendinger, NBC IMSA analyst, finished 8th with Alvaro Parenti, Missif Goldberg, and Trent Hillman. Jack Hawksworth, defending series champion in the Cup Series, Kyle Busch, Michael DeQuesa, and Parker Chase got 9th. And Jules Connor, Mario Fombacher, Matthew McMurray, and Shanae Mickham complete the top 10. So what do you guys think about the Daytona race? I'll start with Orman. And it looks like Taylor's gone. Did Taylor look at the end of the world? Alright, but what do you think about the Daytona race? Hang on, we're having some issues. We do apologize, but Greg did not accept my apology. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so, okay, what were you saying? Because I just fixed it.
Yeah, because, I said that the Rolex 24 was fun. It was a great race. BMW Endurance Challenge was pretty good, but, yeah, overall the weekend was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Taylor's Discord was acting up.
Oh, yeah, and I invited LJ.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was good. The pilot challenge was exciting. It was really pretty good. The Rolex 24 has always been a good tradition, if you know what I mean, with its passes, so it was pretty much a good race so far. As soon as we get Taylor back in this deal, we'll get his thoughts in a minute. But, by the way, since we're at the top of the hour, as we're going to pause 10 seconds to allow stations to identify themselves, this is the IMSA Podcast on the PCS Radio Network, presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, Blue Hedgehog FM, and Blue Hedgehog HD, Oklahoma City. The greatest things in the world. Yeah. Alright, since we're back from our 10-second commercial break, and waiting for Taylor to get back into the call. So, yeah, I'm about to smack my phone for being stupid with the internet. So, let's get, while we're waiting for Taylor to come back into the call, let's get you caught up on the IMSA news. And there was a big announcement that came out today, or came out in the IMSA news, and that is this. The motorsports industry reacts to IMSA and ACO converging, which is, in other words, Friday, one of the most significant announcements in the history of sports car racing was made when IMSA and the ACO announced converging for the top category of the sports. Executive from both sanctioned body participated in a press conference announcing the new LMDH race car, which will roll out in the FIA Formula E World Championship in September of next year, and in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in January 2022. The LMDH will be eligible in the top category globally, paving the way for competitors to compete for overall victories in the Rolex 24 Daytona, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the Mobil 1 12 Hours of Sebring, presented by Advanced Auto Parts, and all other WeatherTech championships and FIA World Endurance Championship races. The reaction to the news has been understandably overwhelming positively. What did you think about that little announcement? As Taylor's back. Yeah.
Discord decided to glitch and get cutting out where I couldn't understand what you were saying, so.
And you you smack Discord fully clothed and not with Atlas.
Yes, that is accepted.
But
Let's make it.
so Taylor, what's your thoughts about the IMSA ACO merging, which they're going to bring out the LMDH car for 2021, the World Endurance, and in 2022 for the for IMSA?
That's going to be pretty interesting to see that new car and how it's going to perform and everything. That's going to be some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. Also, Taylor, what'd you think about the Daytona races from the Pilot Challenge and the Rolex 24 at Daytona? Yeah, it's definitely. Little off topic. I'm about to put a photo, and tell me what's wrong with this photo. On Messenger. Tell me what's wrong with that photo. Off topic. Off topic. Darn it, Taylor, if you did say hot dog buns, you'd have got a 2-word phrase. And I found that on Is that really barbecue sauce? Looks like chili to me. That's messed up. Oh, brother. Good lord. Dang it, if you didn't say bread. But it should be interesting to see about the new car, if you know what I mean. Really going to be exciting about that. Mohammed Balareth, how are you doing? I'm fine. So, it should be interesting to see how that will play out during the course of the until we get to that point. In the meantime, we'll still have the DPIs, if you know what I mean. Second big announcement, Brian Vickers, who was a former NASCAR driver, I'm good, man, who was a former NASCAR driver and last ran in an IMSA race. The last time I can think Brian Vickers ran was the 24 Hours of Le Mans, has gotten his IMSA license and is possibly about to join a team for the 12 Hours of Sebring in a little more than a month's time. What's you guys' thoughts about Brian Vickers returning to IMSA racing? I'll start with you, Taylor. Yeah, and it's nice to see him back in the IMSA podcast, in the IMSA car for the first time in quite some time. Well, blame Discord, okay? What about you, Orman? Oh yeah, let me look it up. I think it was. Yeah, it was the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but I don't know which year it was. Let me look it up, because I remember he ran in a Ferrari. Oh, it's 2012. That was the last time he was in a GT car. So he hasn't been in a GT car since. So he'll definitely be rusty, but he'll get better, so. Yeah, give me once. Oh, I forgot to do this. Whoops. Well, the thing is he an IMSA watcher? That's the problem, though. If he isn't, then I can't do that. Okay, so question to the both of you: if you had to rate Kyle Busch in the Rolex 24 on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the greatest. Okay. But anyway, as I was trying to say before I got interrupted, if you had to rate Kyle Busch's driving on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the worst and 10 being the greatest, what would you rate it and why? I'll start with Taylor.
Well, I would probably say around a 7-ish, maybe a 7.5. I mean, he did pretty decent, and I do believe that's the first time he's ever been in an IMSA car, so.
Especially a GT Lexus.
Yeah, so I would probably say around a 7 or a 7.5 for him. I mean, he did pretty solid.
And for you, Orman?
I would give it a 7. I'll do 7.5 because Kaiba's did a really good job driving in IMSA, and I am pretty much impressed with him in IMSA.
I'm just gonna give him an 8 because I think it's, like you guys mentioned, he's never raced an IMSA car before. It was actually his first ever Rolex 24, and I thought he did a pretty good job, kept the car in one piece, and I think he did a good job as far as what he did. So, and, yeah, so that's pretty good.
LJ still wants to be in the booth.
Do I? Oh, I'll fix it in a minute here. Yeah, give me 1 second, LJ. I gotta update your role. So, not accepted. But, well, blame Discord. Taylor, blame Discord, okay? Yeah. And there he is. Yeah, what's your scale 1 to 10 for Kyle Busch in the IMSA race?
Well, I don't like Kyle Busch, but he did really good during the race, so I give him an A.
Yeah.
He did a really fantastic job.
He's probably, I think, definitely, I would like to see him run, like, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. If he would have won, he would have become the 4th driver to have won. He would have joined the likes of Jeff Gordon, Kyle Larson, Jamie McMurray, which, by the way, Gordon and McMurray, the only NASCAR drivers that have won the Rolex 24 and the Daytona 500 to date. And had Kyle Busch had a winning car, he would have been the third. He could have been the 3rd driver to have won the Rolex 24 and the Daytona 500. So. I think they finished 2nd or 3rd in class, is what I was told. I think. I'm not positively sure. Alright. So, let's start with the Pilot Challenge race. Let's, same rules apply. Scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate the Pilot Challenge race? I will start with Orman. Alright, Zachary Taylor. Ooh, and your reason is?
The race was pretty
LJ?
Actually do not know what you're talking about.
It was the Pilot Challenge Race. If you haven't seen the Pilot Challenge Race, I can send you the link to their channel on YouTube.
Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's like IMSA something. I'll put the links, by the way, of the IMSA channels down in the description, so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna give it a solid 8. It was good racing. Do what? It was good racing. We did have a flip, so Daytona is on the board with a flip.
Because I did watch that race.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the only thing I will say, though, is they're going to have to do something to make sure the cars don't tip upside down, like what we saw with Scott Maxwell in the Pilot Challenge race. Because there was probably like a bump in the track or something like that caused the accident. And, yeah. And, of course, one of the teams, by the way, on last Thursday, destroyed a car, and they had to borrow a chassis from another team, and they complete the distance. If that doesn't tell you how much hard work for one team it is, then I don't know what is. Now to the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Same rules apply. Zachary Taylor, what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10? Boom, baby! And what would be the reason? Alright, Nathan Orman. Okay, and LJ gave it like a 8.
Actually,
go ahead.
7.5 out of 10.
Girly point, Taylor. Just kidding. But I'm gonna actually give IMSA.
But they're always like legit, like no passing, and it was just like kind of pointless. But I did actually like the race. That's why I rated it so.
I'm actually going to give it a 10 as well, because I think we saw some very good battles, and especially in the GT classes. I mean, they really were very awesome. And, of course, you had, like, cars going below the yellow line, which is legal in the IMSA. NASCAR, it's illegal, but IMSA, it's legal. So I will definitely give it a 10. So that's the way I'm going to do this. So, as I said before at the top of the show, there will not be another IMSA podcast until March 16th. And that's to preview the 12 hours of Sebring. Are you guys excited about Sebring, since it is the second race of the World Endurance Cup? What in the name of Tiger Woods is that, Taylor? Oh, brother me. So that's pretty exciting. It'll be another It'll be at 3 o'clock Eastern time. We'll try to have David join us for that show on Monday. So the IMSA podcast will be on Monday. So hope you guys will tune in. Again, March 16th. That is the day before St. Patty's Day. And for some Oklahoma people, that is their quote-unquote spring break. So that should be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. All right. Final thoughts, starting with Zachary Taylor. All right, Nathan Orman. All right, and LJ, your final thoughts?
I think the race was pretty good this weekend. Hopefully at Sebring it's going to be really great as well. Can't wait to watch.
Yep. And the Sebring race, by the way, will take place March 21st at, I think it's at 10 a.m., 10 or 11 a.m. Eastern time as far as the race is concerned. That will be March 21st, which if I look at the calendar for the, if I look at the calendar correctly, March 21st, that is on the same weekend. That is the same weekend as the Homestead weekend. So, and that will be our first of a double header show that we'll have with the weekly show and the IMSA podcast. So, I can't wait for that. So, that's really exciting to tell you. And also the Pilot Challenge race, if the race 2 years ago was any indication, we're in for a good one. Same with last year's race. So, hopefully we'll have reactions. I don't know what time they will go green, but what I can tell you is our live coverage begins 20 minutes before green flag. Let's give you a look at this week's upcoming PCSRA events. As I said before at the top of the show, the weekly show is coming up next. We're going to recap Santiago, get you caught up on some news and notes in the NR report, talk about what the hell the 49 was thinking in the TM Master Cup race at Carbondale. Yeah, we'll talk about the TMS array, which actually will be on our sister station, which I'm going to update the one of my channels on YouTube. We'll also talk about our thoughts about Kobe Bryant, especially to Nathan Orman because he's a diehard Lakers fan. We'll also go through some other stuff in the world of racing, and then we'll look ahead to the Advanced Auto Parts Clash. We'll also get to pick who will be on the pole for the Daytona 500, and also talk about the Clash, since there's only going to be 18 drivers in the Clash at Daytona because 2 cars withdrew. And also we'll talk about the Pinty Series Teenager, if you know what I mean. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's a look ahead. As I said before, the IMSA podcast will be back March 16th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's a look at this week's upcoming events, brought to you by Red Carpet Charter, the official charter company of the PCSRA. So, we have we're going to join a call in a second, so I'll see you guys over there. And it's going to be exciting. So yeah, so as I'm going to go ahead and start my final thoughts now. For me, my final thoughts is that the racing was pretty exciting as it can be. Some good stuff. Leaving Daytona, I felt very confident. And, it was like, and I said this in my race review, we expected a very good race. We expected strategy to play out, and it played out perfectly. And, leaving Daytona and heading to Sebring in a little over a month's time, or less than a month's time, I think we're in for a very good race weekend as far as that's concerned. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that will play out so far. Want to thank our great crew today: Nathan Orman, Zachary Taylor, LJ Toledo, and all of our good friends. Our statistician, Caleb Hobbs, producer and engineer, Zachary Fitzwater, Jackie Tang, Alex Hawkins, Dennis Stats Kelly, our spotter, Greg Wood Black, engineer and producer, Michael Dean, Tom Shores and Greg Rutz, our sideline engineer, Crystal Fontaine, our special PCS Array analyst, and Seth Summer running the show for us back in our PCS Array Network studios. So the next time we'll see you again is March 16th. For the IMSA Podcast at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as we get ready to talk about some news and notes and get you ready, preview Sebring, and give you our keys to the race. Until a few hours from now for the PCS Array Weekly Show as we recap Santiago, get you caught up on some news and notes and all that great stuff, and looking ahead to the Advanced Auto Parts Clash. This is Daniel Bull saying, Boomer Sooner, everybody!
This IMSA podcast has been brought to you by Budweiser, Love's Travel Stops, iHeartMedia, The Oklahoman, Newcastle Casino, Devon Energy, Sonic Drive-Ins, Rudy's Country Store and Barbecue, Harkins Theaters, and by Chevrolet. Thanks for listening to the IMSA podcast. The preceding has been a Learfield IMG College presentation on the PCS Array Sports Network. Copyright 2020 by the Pacifica Sports Racing Association and the International Motorsports Association, Incorporated.